Hello, trading is closed on June 7th, 2022. We always start with our disclaimers, so let's do that. It's my trading plan for tomorrow, June the 8th. Remember, I can be completely 100% wrong. Any trade you make should be at your own risk. Well, we always start by going over our previous calls. Look for the pattern with the early high, which is this, and tomorrow should have the early low. Look for a sharp gap at the open, either under this low or over this high. We got the one under the low. We had some prior targets last weekend. One of them printed yesterday, 41.29.98. The other one printed today, 4,091.46. So we'll cross those off the list. We have a new target for tomorrow, 4131.80. And unless we gap up smartly, that'll be the call for tomorrow. Come back to this pattern in just a minute. MEJT says this is a false move, says we're going to undercut this white line. That gives us the target. This looks like a pretty impressive rally. We'll see why it fell short so far in just a minute. For right now, we still have resistance from Tom DeMark's TDST line and the 89-week moving average. Here's a strong all-day rally. This dotted line is the close. These are prior highs. It didn't clear any of them. Now it might clear them tomorrow. I don't know. But for now, it's just backing and filling within the range. And the strong rally right up to resistance isn't good enough. What you really want to do for this rally to count is to clear some of these highs and close over them. Until that happens, you're just consolidating within the range. Another cause for concern is you have a clear 5 waves up, and wave 1 is equal to wave 5, which is a common place for wave 5 to end. Doesn't mean it has to, but at least if it happens, you can explain it. We still have this trend line resistance. Till we break through, we haven't broken through, and when you come right up to the line, you really want to gap over it. Either you gap over the line or resistance wins. So if you're a bull, you really want to gap over this line tomorrow, because this rally hasn't really cleared resistance. Now it's pretty tough to count this, but it's possible that this pattern today with 5 waves up was the end of a truncated 5th wave. It could be until today we're in wave 4. Wave 4 is usually equal to wave 2, either in terms of time, although it's usually longer, or in terms of price. Well, that's the price of wave 2. That's the range. That's the range of what could be the 4th wave. It's exactly equal. That's pretty characteristic. That's wave 1. If this is wave 5, it's half of wave 1. If we drop from here, you've got the fibs. And furthermore, there's a wall into the close. And you know how I feel about walls. Very often it's a buying panic that gets reversed as soon as we open by gapping down. And if we gap down under this low, it means this is a false move and validates this count. Now that hasn't happened yet, And of course, if we gap up, that just kills the whole idea. And I think this gap has to fill at some time. We open up here, all this analysis turns into mumbo jumbo. I don't know. But for right now, we have a pattern which often marks the end of a rally, stopped at resistance, couldn't clear prior highs, and has a good Fibonacci pattern, Elliott wave pattern, which at least opens the door for a sharp move down at the open. And if that happens, it could be a long way down. Until it happens, you can't be certain that's the right idea. We'll just keep our antenna peeled. If it's your eyes peeled, you keep your antenna up, I guess. Well, Wednesday's pattern has the early low. It could gap up. Typically, it's a rally day with a fine lower high. If it's weak instead, more weakness ensues in subsequent days. We have a lower MEJT target, and if we don't gap up smartly, the rules call for it to print. The wave count for today's rally justifies a top right at today's high. So if, and that's an if, we drop right from the open, we could have a sizable decline, probably not all in a day, and the wall into the close often is followed by gapping down smartly, so such a drop is quite possible. Gapping up significantly overcomes major resistance, vitiates the count. I can't rule that out. If we gap over that resistance, it could go much higher. We won't know that till tomorrow. The ideal situation for me would be a steep, short-lived decline with last month's low holding, followed by a good rally overcoming June highs. Until we start down with conviction, we can't be confident things will actually play out that way. Just remember, well over 99.5% of these targets print, most of them print within their preferred time frame, which is tomorrow. And if we're going to gap up here, I don't see us coming back to there, although I've been fooled many times before. But if, and that's an if, this wall is greeted by gapping down smartly, particularly under this low, that completes the rally wave count, and I think there could be a steep drop because of sentiment readings, and these steep drops should be recovered, followed by an even greater rally than we've seen. There's just too much negativity around, but that's too much exuberance if it gets rejected early. So we'll see if we get the gap down, which often follows the wall and often follows a 5-wave pattern, because if we do, it should have legs. We gap up, the idea is killed, and that's today's call.